We are deep in the thick of spring now. Everything is growing, popping off, and I think it's just about time that I reset all the plants, just go through everything in the living room and do whatever they need done to them. So kind of like chores, but not really. There's lots of pruning to do. There are some dried leaves here and there. And in some instances, I might actually have to downright chop. So let's go through all the plants over the next couple of days. Let's see what they need and let's do it, right? Let's get these living room plants looking good. In case you don't know me or this is your first time here, my name is Efe. I have over 100 plants in my New York City apartment, and my goal is to grow them as big and beautiful as possible and style them gorgeously. Let's get after it. So I think I'm gonna start in the back of the room, right there actually. Right by the kitchen, I have two anthuriums, and I put things there that are a little bit struggle bussish. Let me show you. As you can see, both of these have needed a little bit of rehabilitation and TLC. Okay, so we have this plant, which is an Anthurium magnificum crossed with Fregetii, but it just looks crazy. So let's figure out what this needs. I feel like this is one of these plants that somehow looks better on camera than it does in real life, but the gist of what I think is happening here is I just can't keep it moist enough. But you look at the roots and they look great, right? They look really, really good. Very green. Every time I water this, it does soak up all the water immediately. And I just don't like this stem is just long and awful. The leaves all look horrible. This is crazy. I think I'm just gonna chop it, honestly. I was going to take off just these bad leaves, right? Like, look, this leaf looks horrible. Don't need these inflows, right? But then thinking about it, this leaf also looks terrible. This one's not worth keeping, it looks awful. Whew. And since I've done this and I don't like this, I might as well take it down to brass tacks. Now, I could actually propagate this. I could chop this into, I think I'm gonna chop this into 3 and just shove it in a Ziploc bag with some tree fern fiber and see if it decides to root or not. I actually have pretty good luck with Anthurium wet sticks, so maybe it'll work. Next up is this tiny luxurians, which is one of 2 Anthurium luxurians that I have in the apartment. This one has always had a little bit of failure to launch syndrome, but it seems to be doing a lot better now, so I think we can just clean this up. This one leaf it has is really chubby, really fat, and honestly really cute. I will keep this one because it looks really, really good. And then I'm thinking the roots look quite good, so I think the plant is overall healthy. And I just need to trim off this one, which seems to have deteriorated. So let's chop that off first. There we go. Looks so much better already. To be honest, I don't think this needs anything else, so I'll just put it back where it belongs. And now to tackle the part of the room that I've been putting off for months on end. It's an absolute mess over here. There are so many things fighting for attention. Let's try to figure it out. Starting with this Ficus umbellata. This one is a spider mite magnet, but I'm really attached to it and I can't help but want to keep it. I do think it definitely needs some attention because, as you can see, it's suffering a little bit and it's desperate for some light. So yeah, the canopy is still intact, but it just looks really odd like this. So I think the best thing to do here is to just reshape what the plant looks like, and that means giving it a chop.
That's just it. That's the only option. Just go ahead.
Even though I was dreading that, honestly, it's oddly freeing just kind of going for it after talking about this all this time. And this is what I'm left with. To be honest, I still have some figuring out to do as the roots are growing out of the bottom of the pot. So it obviously needs a new pot. I don't have any nursery pots bigger than this at home. So there's probably a trip to the hardware store in my future. And also really a decision to make as to whether I want to keep putting this in nursery pots or if I just want to plant it directly into something massive. So we'll see. As for the canopy, I thought about propagating it, but honestly, I don't have the space for any more ficus umbellatas. So I think it's probably best to say goodbye to these. The leaves are spider mites damaged and they're not healthy anyway, so it's goodbye. And this is what the corner looks like now without the tree. Still a lot of work to do, and I need to figure out the wires, but it's better. Okay, so the ficuses in the back are sorted. I've watered them. I think with Ficus Audrey in the corner, I'm honestly leaning towards putting it in the bedroom. I don't know, the way it grows is just so messy. I just don't see how it can be good or happy here. So I think I'll move it into a spot in the bedroom, but there's some shuffling around that needs to happen in there for that to become a reality. And then I guess I'm leaving the stub of Ficus umbellata where it is. The top of the tree is behind me on the dining table. Initially I considered propagating it, but then I would just have the same problem but with two trees instead. So compost it is for that guy, I think. And beside it in the corner is, it's this philodendron that I propagated a while ago. I can't actually remember what it's called. I'll put the name up on the screen, but it was growing all funky and leggy, so I propagated it. And I honestly can't remember how long it's been in the vase. Let me show you. So here it is. I mean, it's been growing in here for I don't know how long, actually. Look, yuck. And it's the roots are actually crazy right now. Actually, considering how long it's been in there, I would have thought they would be crazier. Anyway, I'm thinking about potting them all up together because does this thing have spider mites? Ew. It actually has, some of the old leaves have spider mite damage, so I'll probably chop them off. I'm not sure if the plant still has mites or not. Spider mites on a propagation is wild. I don't have any interest in dealing with that. I do think it's because of that ficus. That Ficus umbellata is a spider mite factory, and everything that goes near it gets mites. So I feel bad punishing these guys just because that plant is, you know, just for that plant's bad behavior. Let me think on this. So this is the plant that I chopped and it's in the corner. I don't really see spider mites on, oh wait, no, there's some, I don't know, there's all sorts of garbage on these leaves. This thing is like, some of them are pest riddled, some of them are growing awkwardly. Honestly, I just don't like it. I think in keeping with my decision to remove the things that don't bring me joy, I think this one has to go. And the props too. I just don't think I care enough to deal with it, so I'm gonna chop this up. Say bye. I have tried multiple times to rescue this plant, to kind of reorient it and just try to figure it out, but it hasn't worked out. So actually I don't feel bad. Some things just are not meant to be, and when it comes to dealing with pests, I feel like I have to really love a plant to put up with any kind of pest issues, and I just don't care enough about this one, so I think I'm going to remove this from the premises. this is what this corner is looking like now. The philodendron's gone. The ficus is chopped. I would say things are still off here, but they're much better than they were. There's just not any rhyme or reason yet. And I need to figure it out. It's the anthuriums. Anthuriums just lend themselves to a bit of a scrappy look. Right, I've got the plants, the philodendron, the old ficus, everything bagged up. Again, they're pest ridden, so there just isn't any point in keeping them. Believe it or not, underneath all that back there is this beautiful Anthurium King of Spades, but it's it's just basically covered by everything else, and so I really would love to figure out a way to display it so that you can actually see it. I mean, this is the latest leaf. Pretty, right? I'm just going to cut off this old, well, it just came right off, old inflorescence, but it doesn't really need anything. It could do with some water. It's a little bit dry, so I'm going to water it quickly, but then I'll put it back after I water it. So that was nice and easy. This one doesn't need anything, just water. So I just gave that King of Spades a very, very deep watering, and I'll just let it drain a little bit and then put it back in its spot. And next is the Anthurium clarinervium crossed with forgetii. That plant definitely needs water. It always needs water, but I think it might be time to trim some more of the leaves. I did trim some the last time. Some of the leaves look good and some of them not so much. So I'll probably be trimming one or two. I like to just get rid of one or two at a time, so as not to do anything too drastic. This is the latest leaf, which is a little bit smaller than the one that came right before it. The one that came before it, I think, is behind me there. This is probably the smallest leaf it's had in quite a while. I think it's because it was working on both of these at the same time, 2 inflows. And here is the newest leaf. I think I will not do much of anything today except water it. I'm gonna cut this small one here, the oldest one, and just leave the rest, maybe. I don't know. This one is all jacked up, so I'll cut this one. Okay, yeah. I'm gonna cut this one, which is old, and this one, which is damaged for some reason, more so than the others. And I think that'll be enough. Even though this leaf isn't perfect, I do like the fact that it's standing up. So yeah, I have to consider what the plant will look like when all is said and done. And so I'm not going to cut this one. I will just cut these 2. As you can see, we've got roots out the bottom, but I mean, I don't really have a bigger pot or enough aroid mix really to upsize this pot. So I think we're gonna stay with this for now. And when I get some more aroid mix, I'll probably put it in like a giant black pot because I don't think I have any more clear ones. The last plant in this corner is this Anthurium radicans crossed with luxurians. I decided to chop off some of these old inflorescences, which are useless anyway because this plant is sterile and cannot be pollinated, and I moved it further in so that my King of Spades could be on the outside. I just think that's a better match for the lighting needs of these plants. I think the KOS wants a little bit less light, and the Radlux is very flexible. It is adaptable to just about any kind of lighting situation. That corner looks so bare, but I'm glad I got it sorted. I still have quite a bit to sort out here behind me because honestly this is completely out of control. Let's maybe start in the corner and work our way across plant by plant. So the first plant over there is this philodendron micans. So this I think is okay. It probably could do with some water. I'm just gonna pull it out. It's definitely kind of dry, and of course some of these bits are kind of growing off the pole. I haven't really clipped any of them to the pole in quite some time. I just let it do its thing. I think maybe I will just, I kind of like the wildness of the look, I'm not gonna lie. I don't really want to control it too much. So I'll just get these ones that are on the floor up a bit. Maybe clip something. Yeah, I'll clip this on the way back up just so that it looks less crazy. There we go. Okay, the other one down there is not really long enough, so I'm just going to put it, I'll just tuck it into the pot. Maybe it will shoot off another. And then I'm just gonna deeply water the pole, and then I'll put it back. So put it to the side while I get water for it. But then after dealing with that, this monstera is yet again problematic. So here and here, I don't know if you can see, but here and here, these leaves, the two lowest leaves, are basically blocking me. They're basically hitting this corner in the wall. This makes it impossible actually for me to turn the monstera, and so now once again the leaves are of course blocking everything and everyone else. So I'm going to give it a bit of a prune. I'm going to cut these two leaves off. If I can turn the plant, it will just make it easier for the others that are around here to get a bit more shine. And also, once again, my husband's complaining about the TV being blocked, so I have to remedy that. I'm going to cut those off. One. Two. I think maybe spin it a little bit more. Okay, so like this. How's that? I think that's a lot better actually. Then I'm gonna pull this. Let that baby fall. What do you think? I think that looks better. I think it looks a lot better. I like it like this. If I wasn't already short of space, I would probably put these fronds in a vase and keep them. Oh well. Now I'm just going to water the mycans pole thoroughly. Because it's so tall, it takes quite some time to soak it properly. Alternatively, you can shower it, but my shower was full of plants already from the bedroom, so I'm just doing this from the watering can in the living room. Takes a little longer, but it's worth it. And now there's plenty of room for it to go back in its spot with ease instead of fighting the monstera leaves for that little space. So yeah, I think it's all working out. And now I'm just going to water all the other plants. Even though these are actually hooked up to a mini irrigation system that spritzes them lightly from time to time, I still find myself doing quite a bit of watering in the summer. My living room has southern exposure, so it gets a whole lot of light in the summer, quite a long duration, and the light and heat can be intense. It's actually been quite chilly so far this spring, so heat hasn't been an issue, but they still do go through quite a bit of water just due to all the light. So I have to try to stay on top of the watering, which is the most important thing for keeping the anthuriums looking halfway decent. Sometimes growing in high humidity makes it easy to forget how much water these anthuriums need. But because these are growing in ambient conditions in my living room where the humidity is typically around, somewhere between 20 and 40%, I have to try to make sure I water them when they need it because they will not be forgiving. As the summer draws closer, it will get more and more humid, which makes it easier, but at the same time it will get hotter, which makes it harder. I think it's starting to look a whole lot better. Definitely the top end of things is sorted, but the anthuriums on the bottom still need work. So I'm gonna fix that, starting with this queen anthurium. The queen used to live in my grow tent where she had beautiful, pristine leaves, but I had to bring her out last summer because she was getting too big, and while I was away on vacation, she was underwatered by my plant sitter anyway, so her leaves were already battered. Seemed as good a time as any to put her out. She's had a tough winter in the living room, I'm not gonna lie. As you can see, there are holes in all her leaves. That is from me not watering on time when a new leaf was coming out. So today I'm just going to clean up all the old damaged leaves, chop off the ones that can't be saved, and just generally make her look better, and I'm hoping that she will do better now that the growing season is coming. One of my favorite hacks is to just trim off the crispy bits in the shape of the leaf so that it still looks like itself and it still looks pristine, you see? Even though that's not the general shape of the actual leaf, it still looks good. I prefer to leave these two on instead of chopping them off because I need something for the leaf to draw on, the main big leaf, in case I forget to water the plant again. Think of them like sacrificial leaves basically. They're sort of a fail-safe. Now these two big main leaves on the other hand are just way too damaged to be worth saving. They have holes in them from unfurling without enough water, but they're also crispy and they just don't look good, so I decided to chop them off and get rid of them. I think the plant will look better for it. And even though the remaining leaf still has holes, I think it looks pretty good, so I'm just going to tie that one leaf to the moss pole just to support it better, and I think if I can keep it from getting crispy, in spite of the holes, I think it will still look halfway decent, especially because it's so massive. And honestly, once you get size on something like this, that's actually the most impressive thing about it. I'm just finishing it off with some foliar spray. I like to do the foliages for a little bit of extra fertilization support, and the anthuriums actually seem to really like it. It works really well, so that's what I'm doing here. I will list everything I've used both to fertilize and to spray in the description box below, so you can check them all out. And I'm just going to spray the rest of the anthuriums. This is my Anthurium papillilaninum. It's growing a little bit wonkily, so after spraying it, I thought to myself, I'd just get rid of some of these old inflorescences, and then I'm just going to prop it up to support it so that it grows a little bit better. And I think that's okay for now. I'm gonna just put the queen back, and there you are. Voila. Last but not least is this Anthurium luxurians, which is actually tucked away behind the rest of them, right in front of the monstera. So easy to neglect this one by accident. This is a very tough plant actually. It can take a real beating, so there's not too much damage done to it. It does need a little bit of TLC, just chopping off a few of the old leaves, and really probably just a thorough watering, to be honest. And that's it. Okay, I think I'm all chores out for the day. I think I've made really, really good progress though. The living room is starting to shape up. So that corner there, while still kind of chaotic, I think is largely pest free, and all the things I don't like are out of there. I chopped the monstera and was able to turn it. So this should be good for another, I don't know, maybe till the end of summer. I think this is the latest leaf, so hopefully any more leaves will now, grow that way. I hope, I don't know, never know with this guy. I've started chopping bits and pieces over here. I do have a lot of moss pole work to do, but I think I'll just do that maybe tonight when the kids go to bed. I'll get started with that. So I've got, I think, 3 moss poles that need a little bit of work, a little bit of maintenance, some water and stuff, but otherwise I'm pretty pleased with the outcome. I am thinking about moving this plant down here, in front here, but I want to wait for this leaf to harden off first before I move it, because it'll be safer from the kids that way. And, ooh, can I just show you one last thing before I go? Like, the biggest surprise of all. Remember my variegated alocasia that basically completely reverted and was only giving green leaves? Look. Look what it gave me. It's a half moon. Oh, now this is what I call variegation. At last. Maybe next time I'll show you how everything's looking when I'm done with all the chores. But for now, I think we're in a pretty good spot, and this is as good a place as any to stop. So you know how this goes, right? Until next time, I'll see you